What if your late-night sugar cravings or sudden bursts of anxiety weren't entirely your fault? What if they weren't even fully you? Here's a strange but surprisingly grounded idea. Tiny organisms living inside your body might be pulling the strings, and maybe something even deeper is at play. Let's start simple. Parasites are organisms that live inside you and survive by feeding off your body. They're not rare. In fact, estimates suggest that nearly everyone has some kind of parasitic presence. These aren't just worms you pick up from bad water. They're common in developed countries too, hiding in food, water, and even in well-maintained homes. Now here's the twist. Parasites don't just feed on your nutrients. They manipulate your behavior. They release chemicals that can affect your nervous system. That craving for sugary snacks? It might be them. That foggy brain or persistent fatigue? Also, possibly them. They benefit from keeping you hooked on the very foods and habits that let them thrive. Across cultures and throughout history, people have described demons or negative energies that feed on emotions like fear, anger, or despair. The similarities to how parasites operate are eerie. Both feed on you, both can change how you feel and behave, and both survive best when you're weak, stressed, or out of balance. What if some of what we call spiritual affliction is rooted in actual biology? What if parasites are not just physical invaders, but also the physical link to deeper, darker influences? One man, Wayne Rowland, put this theory to the test. After trying standard medical treatments without results, he used a frequency-based device aimed not at symptoms, but at killing parasites. The result? Not only did his illness go away, but so did chronic conditions, like arthritis. The problem wasn't just his illness. It was the parasites that had taken hold inside his body, feeding and polluting his system from within. And he's not alone. Others have found that deworming, a practice once common in 19th century medicine, has helped resolve everything from fatigue to more serious conditions. Old medical texts even linked things like cancer and diabetes to parasitic infections combined with toxins in the body. Yet today, this idea is mostly ignored. There may be forces, both biological and possibly even spiritual, working against your health without your awareness. But you're not powerless. You can start by cleaning up your diet, avoiding the junk that feeds parasites. Use known natural herbs like wormwood and black walnut to cleanse your body. Detox from toxins like heavy metals and plastics that create a safe haven for these invaders. Support your immune system with real food, quality sleep, and mindfulness. It's not just about getting healthier. It's about getting free. So the question isn't just, are parasites bad for you? It's, are you really in control of your cravings, your habits, your thoughts, or is something else calling the shots? Let's go a step further. Most people think parasites are only a problem if you travel to remote places or have poor hygiene. That's not true. Parasites can come from sushi, undercooked meat, contaminated produce, or even from walking barefoot outdoors. They don't just infest your gut. They've been found in the brain, liver, and even eyes. What's more disturbing is how normal their effects can feel. You might blame your lack of energy on aging. You might think your mood swings or constant sugar cravings are just part of life. But in many cases, it could be parasites and the toxins they produce disrupting your system from the inside. Let's talk about cravings. They're not random. Parasites release chemicals that influence your brain to make you seek out the foods they need. Sugar, processed carbs, and alcohol. These aren't bad habits in the typical sense. They're strategies for survival, but not for your survival. Scientists have discovered that parasites can influence not just individual behavior, but even group behavior in animals. For example, certain parasites make infected rats attracted to cats, their natural predator, just so the parasite can complete its life cycle in the cat's gut. That's not science fiction. That's biology. Now apply that to humans. What if certain social behaviors, herd mentality, compulsive habits, even mass cravings, are influenced by parasitic manipulation at a biological level? Could entire cultures be shaped by microscopic invaders driving collective behavior toward conditions that favor their survival? Then combine that with environmental toxins, microplastics, pesticides, heavy metals, and you've got a system where parasites don't just survive, they thrive. The food industry, for example, floods the market with sugary, processed, nutrient-poor products that create the perfect breeding ground for parasites. Whether intentional or not, the outcome is the same: a population that's easier to manipulate, less energetic, and constantly distracted by cravings and fatigue. Most medical checkups don't even test for parasites unless you specifically ask, and even then, the tests are often limited. That means millions of people are living with parasites and don't even know it. They treat the symptoms, low energy, brain fog, gut issues, but never address the actual cause. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. Knowing what you're really dealing with changes how you respond. Parasites aren't just a medical issue. They're a life issue. And recognizing their influence is the first step toward taking your power back. Now let's explore what happens when parasites and toxins work together. It's not just that they coexist. They cooperate in a way that makes your body the perfect environment for disease. Toxins like heavy metals, pesticides, and even microplastics don't just damage your body. They suppress your immune system. When that happens, parasites move in easily. It's a 1-2 punch. The toxins weaken your defenses, and the parasites take over. Let's get specific. One known parasite, the pancreatic fluke, can invade the pancreas and damage it. Combine that with wood alcohol, a toxic chemical often found in processed food and even some sugar substitutes, and it can lead to type 2 diabetes. That's a very different picture than "it runs in the family" or "you ate too much sugar." Alzheimer's disease has long been linked to aluminum buildup in the brain. But what's often left out is that parasites may actually be using aluminum as a signal to reproduce. That means the aluminum isn't the main threat. The real damage might be caused by parasites reacting to it and flooding the brain with waste and inflammation. So simply removing aluminum isn't enough. You need to remove the organisms exploiting it. And it doesn't stop at the brain. There's growing interest in how parasites may impact hormone levels. For example, some researchers suspect that certain worms can mimic human hormones or interfere with the endocrine system, potentially contributing to issues like infertility, thyroid problems, or even certain cancers. These aren't fringe theories. They're being explored in clinical settings, just not widely publicized. Why is this important? Because modern medicine often treats these conditions as separate problems. But if parasites are a common thread, affecting your digestion, your hormones, your immune response, even your brain, then ignoring them means missing the root cause entirely. The body isn't just passive in all this. It fights back. The immune system recognizes parasites as threats and mounts a response. But if your body is already burdened by toxins, poor diet, and stress, that response is too weak to succeed. Instead of eliminating the invaders, your immune system ends up stuck in constant overdrive, leading to chronic inflammation, autoimmunity, and exhaustion. So what's the takeaway? This isn't about choosing between science and spirituality. It's about connecting the dots. Parasites aren't just a gut health problem. They affect your brain, your hormones, your cravings, your mood, even your dreams. And they don't act alone. They work with environmental toxins to create conditions that benefit them at the expense of you. Once you understand how they operate, you can disrupt the cycle. Cleansing the body, detoxifying the system, and strengthening your defenses isn't just some wellness trend. It's strategic self-defense. You're not just improving your health. You're reclaiming your freedom. Now that we understand parasites and toxins often work hand in hand, the next step is knowing how to break the cycle and keep it broken. Detoxing isn't just about flushing something out once and hoping for the best. It's a structured, ongoing process, one that needs the right tools, timing, and understanding of how your body works. Parasites don't die easily. When threatened, they can burrow deeper into tissues, even forming cysts to protect themselves. This is why many people feel worse when they start a cleanse. It's not a sign of failure. It's a sign that the parasites are fighting back. You're hitting a nerve. This is called a die-off reaction, also known as Herxheimer reaction, and it can include symptoms like fatigue, mood swings, headaches, or flu-like symptoms. It's not pleasant, but it's temporary and often necessary. Knowing this helps you stay consistent when the process gets tough. Most parasite cleanses fail because they don't address the life cycle. Parasites lay eggs. If your cleanse only kills the adults and not the eggs or larvae, you'll feel better for a few weeks, and then worse again. That's why a cyclical approach is more effective. Cleanse for a few weeks, take a short break, then repeat. This gives your body time to eliminate all stages of the infestation. Your body's detox pathways, liver, kidneys, lymphatic system, are often sluggish due to chronic exposure to pollutants. If those systems aren't functioning well, trying to kill parasites may overwhelm your body with toxins. Supporting detox pathways is step 1, not step last. Start with hydration, fiber-rich foods, and gentle liver support like milk thistle or dandelion root. Then layer in the antiparasitic herbs. Here's another overlooked factor: gut health. About 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. If your gut microbiome is out of balance, parasites have a much easier time taking over. After cleansing, it's essential to rebuild, using probiotics, fermented foods, and prebiotics to restore beneficial bacteria and strengthen your internal defenses. And there's one more layer that deserves attention: biofilms. These are slimy protective shields that parasites and harmful bacteria create to hide from your immune system. They make treatments less effective and allow parasites to survive for years inside the body. Breaking down biofilms, using enzymes like serrapeptase or nattokinase, or natural agents like garlic and apple cider vinegar, can make your cleanse far more successful. Remember that cleansing isn't just physical. Parasites thrive in chaos: physical, emotional, and mental. High stress, unresolved trauma, and constant negativity weaken your system and make reinfection more likely. Practices like meditation, breathwork, and even journaling aren't just nice extras. They create internal stability that repels chaos-dependent organisms. So what's the deeper takeaway? You can't just kill parasites. You have to change the environment that let them thrive. Clean the terrain, support your detox systems, disrupt their life cycle, rebuild your gut, and stabilize your internal state. That's how you reclaim your body for the long term. Once you've cleansed and detoxed, the final and most often overlooked step is fortification. This is where you rebuild your body into a place where parasites and toxins simply can't survive. Just because the parasites are gone now doesn't mean they won't come back. Re-exposure is easy. It happens through food, water, pets, even travel. That's why maintaining a strong, resilient internal environment is critical. Start with your immune system. A weakened immune system isn't just about getting sick more often. It also means your body can't keep up with hidden threats like microscopic invaders. Focus on daily habits that build immune resilience: consistent sleep, 7 to 9 hours, stress regulation through breathing exercises or mindfulness, and physical activity that keeps your circulation strong. Then look at your gut barrier. Your intestines are your first line of defense, but stress, sugar, alcohol, and poor diet can make the lining leaky. This allows not just parasites, but toxins and undigested food particles to enter the bloodstream and trigger inflammation. Supporting gut lining repair with nutrients like L-glutamine, zinc, and bone broth can make your defenses solid again. Next, let's talk maintenance strategies. You don't need to be in a constant state of cleansing, but a seasonal reset can help. Think of it like changing your oil. Doing a mild parasite cleanse 2 to 4 times a year, for example during spring and fall, gives your body a chance to reset and keep unwanted guests from building a foothold again. Another simple but powerful tool is rotation eating. Most people eat the same small group of foods daily. This repetitive diet can cause imbalances in gut flora and may increase the chances of parasites adapting. Rotating your foods, especially your fruits, vegetables, and proteins, helps diversify your microbiome, making your body less predictable and harder for parasites to exploit. And don't underestimate the importance of clean water. Many people focus on food quality but ignore the toxins in their water. Tap water can contain chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, and even microscopic pathogens. Invest in a high-quality water filter that removes heavy metals and parasites. It's one of the best long-term health moves you can make. Lastly, there's your environment. Parasites don't just exist in your body, they live in your surroundings. Pets should be regularly dewormed. Hand washing after gardening or handling raw meat matters. Even vacuuming and dusting more often reduces microscopic eggs or larvae that may enter through skin contact or breathing. Taking back control isn't a one-time fix. It's a lifestyle of awareness and maintenance. But the payoff is enormous. When your body is clear, your mind sharpens. When your cravings fade, your discipline returns. When you're no longer hijacked by hidden forces, you begin to feel like yourself again. Not sluggish, foggy, or anxious, but truly awake. The question now isn't whether parasites affect you, it's how you'll respond now that you know. Because awareness without action changes nothing. But awareness followed by consistent steps, that changes everything.